Nuclear plant structure. In early 2022, reports began to surface which suggested that Russia had begun unauthorized construction work on a mysterious structure situated in close proximity to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the largest nuclear plant in Europe in an occupied region of Ukraine. Described by officials as an unknown structure, it appears to constitute a significant violation of important health and safety legislation, and its exact purpose remains a mystery. The unauthorized construction work being carried out by Russian engineers and military personnel has raised many suspicions in Ukraine, as well as amongst its allies. Further adding to the mystery and intrigue, the Russian forces which are occupying the power plant have been denying Ukrainian workers access to the site, and are keeping it under armed guard night and day, despite the fact that Ukrainian workers have been continuing to operate it since the area was occupied. Ukraine's energy operator, Energoatom, has suggested the possibility that Russia may be, quote, preparing a terrorist act using nuclear materials and radioactive waste at the facility. Energoatom went on to point out that damaging the nuclear waste, which is stored at the site, would result in, quote, a radiation incident and radiation contamination of several hundred square kilometers of the surrounding area. Russia has responded by making its own accusations, although Russia's suggestions that Ukraine is preparing to use dirty nuclear weapons against the invaders are unsubstantiated. These accusations were dismissed by Britain, the US, and France as transparently false. It seems that Russia's accusations of Ukraine and its Western allies developing what it has consistently referred to as a dirty bomb may be a thinly veiled attempt to draw attention away from its own suspicious nuclear and chemical programs, the details of which will likely remain unknown until the liberation of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Nordstrom dark ships. On September 26, 2022, with international tensions already running high, a series of explosions resulted in critical gas leaks on the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 natural gas pipelines, which run through the Baltic Sea. Subsequently, 400,000 tons of methane gas poured up through the sea and into the atmosphere. Photographs of the hazardous results show the sea's surface bubbling violently. The importance of the gas transported by these pipelines from Russia to Germany is widely known, and owing to the ongoing geopolitical turbulence, as well as the existing energy shortages in EU countries, many suspected sabotage. Both Nord Stream pipelines are majority owned by the Russian company Gazprom, which is in turn state-owned. Although it's possible that Russia would seek to cut off gas supplies to Europe, and there are numerous ways in which it would benefit from doing so, no evidence for this theory has yet been presented. What was clear, however, is that the explosions were almost certainly the result of a deliberate attack. It was not until early November that evidence began to arise, in the form of satellite data, which revealed that 2 large ships, with their trackers disabled, had been spotted in the approximate location of the leaks in the days leading up to the explosions. Analysis of the satellite data suggests that these 2 dark ships measured between 95 and 130 meters in length, and that both vessels passed within several miles of the area of interest. It seems as though the dark ships had evaded detection by disabling their tracking beacons deliberately. This behavior is rare, but can happen for reasons other than international sabotage, such as illegal fishing, smuggling, or involvement in modern slavery. A NATO spokesperson stated that, although the organization is hesitant to point fingers or discuss the details of the discovery and potential attack, it believes the incident was a, quote, deliberate and irresponsible act of sabotage. In order to uncover the pivotal discovery of the dark ships, a team scoured many archived satellite images, focusing on the areas around the location of the explosion. They found that, in the 90 days leading up to the incident, 25 ships had passed through, only 2 of which had their beacons switched off. By traveling without tracking beacons, also known as AIS transponders, the 2 dark ships had violated international law, concealing data regarding their name, alliance, location, speed, and direction of travel. While the ongoing investigations are shrouded in secrecy, with data now suggesting that the dark ships may have been carrying out a covert military operation, the likelihood of an official accusation of sabotage has drastically increased. Watch that window. Since the beginning of the war, many high-profile Russian businessmen, oligarchs, and leaders, most of whom have challenged Putin, have died under mysterious circumstances. While some are quite pedestrian, such as a stroke, others have been gruesome and relatively creative, such as one state-aligned energy executive dying from toad poisoning after visiting his shaman's basement. The shaman testified that the executive had come to his home while drunk and demanded that he perform a healing ritual to alleviate hangover symptoms. The official cause of death was given as heart failure. One aviation industry director who worked directly under Putin apparently fell off his luxury yacht and drowned. Another former head of the Moscow Aviation Institute allegedly fell down, quote, several sets of stairs. In an equally implausible occurrence, the head of Russia's largest private oil company died in what Kremlin-approved news organizations called an accidental fall from a hospital window while smoking. The spate of bizarre deaths will likely continue, but critics are highly skeptical, suspecting that Putin is employing brazen and barbaric methods to eliminate political opposition and resistance to the war. Inside job. Wars are seldom fought only on the front line, and the Russian-Ukrainian war is no exception. In addition to the exchange of munitions and ongoing fighting in the east, Russia has had to endure a series of mysterious explosions and fires at sensitive locations and facilities across the country. These attacks seem to constitute sabotage and are likely the result of an inside job. Naturally, the blame for all incidents has been placed on Ukraine, but there seems to be little evidence to support this. A regular occurrence since the beginning of Putin's war, the fires and explosions seem to have targeted Russian military locations, such as ammunition factories and communications hubs, and industrial complexes, such as oil refineries and aerospace development companies. Although likely all intended to undermine Russia's military efforts and to place chinks in her armor, it's unclear whether or not the attackers are working together. It may be the case that the explosions and fires are the product of a unified organization, or it may be that they are being carried out by some of the many Russians who are opposed to the war, particularly those liable to be conscripted into the Russian armed forces. The likelihood of the attacks being guerrilla operations carried out by displeased Russians seems particularly high, given their random and sporadic nature, as well as the type of locations that have been targeted. When combined with the massive losses suffered by the Russian military in the invasion of Ukraine, an effective guerrilla campaign such as this one could have a significant impact on the tide of the war. Poland missile explosion. As Russia launched a massive offensive consisting of dozens of missiles against Ukraine on the evening of Tuesday, November 15th, a lone missile struck Polish territory, killing 2 individuals. The event sent a shockwave of fear across the globe, with many believing that it constituted an act of war by Russia against yet another country. An emergency meeting was held at the G20 summit between US President Joe Biden and a number of other world leaders to discuss the matter. The aggression caused Polish military security to be placed on high alert, but neither Russia nor Ukraine took responsibility for the incident. The Polish Foreign Ministry declared that, based on fragments recovered from the site of the impact, the missile was Russian-made and launched from an S-300 system. However, it was also made clear that this did not necessarily incriminate Russia directly, as both Ukraine and Russia have been using the Russian-made munitions throughout the war. The S-300 air defense system is a ground-to-air munition launching system with a range of up to 90 kilometers, which is used by both the Russian and Ukrainian military. Its primary purpose is to intercept missiles or aircraft, but it has also been used by the Russian invaders to attack ground targets in Ukraine. While Ukraine's President Zelensky maintains that the missile in question was not Ukrainian, NATO have claimed that the incident was, quote, likely caused by the Ukrainian air defense missile fired to defend Ukrainian territory against Russian cruise missile attacks. The NATO representatives, along with various world leaders, have stressed that, while the missile likely came from Kyiv and was intended to shoot down a Russian missile, the responsibility and fault remained with Russia due to its aggressive actions. Thank you for watching Dark 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe to continue exploring the greatest mysteries of this world and beyond. Your support and engagement help my videos get seen by even more people. And let me know if there are any other mysterious events in the Russia-Ukraine war that I should cover.